You're tuned in to Just One Hot Mom with host Nanika Ansari. Get ready. She's about to bring you that fire, that flavor, that heat, all that passion, and more from around the world and in your neighborhood. Stay tuned.
Hey, howdy, you are tuned into Just One Hot Mom, and I'm your host, Nanika Ansari, and it is nice and cool in the neighborhood today. As you guys know, fall has arrived, and I don't know if we went from fall to winter already because it is really cold outside, but we're going to thank God that we got up this morning, and so that makes it a beautiful day. So today in the studio, we're doing a special type of artist spotlight. Normally, we'll have a singer in or an actor in, but today we are highlighting an entrepreneur as an artist because it is an art form. Getting your own business going, jump starting, all of that takes some form of art. So today in the studio I have with me Theresa. Hey Theresa.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm glad. Thank you for coming on. So in case you guys don't know, Theresa is a pet parent, and if you guys follow my Instagram or my Facebook, you know that I am a pet parent. Sparky is like the hottest dog in Cleveland right now. I know some people will debate that, but we know on our page that Sparky is all it. So hey Theresa, how's it going today?
Things are going very good.
Good. You. So let's get into this.
Yes.
Give us the background. Why pet? It's like a pet hotel grooming station. Like it's all inclusive to everything you need for your dog. So why venture out and start this business?
Well, as you just said, I'm a paw parent, and I'm super obsessed with my paws. I love Alayna to death. She's 10 years old, Silky Terrier.
She's adorable.
She's my first and only dog, but that's my Rolly. We've been through thick and thin, everything together. And so just walking with her one cold day in Cleveland and freezing, I was like, what are these dogs doing to exercise? I wasn't enjoying it. She wasn't enjoying it. So eventually, I was able to find a doggy day care that was near my job. I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing. This was about 6 years ago. So I started taking her there when I would have long days. Like I'd go to work and I'd have school in the evening. So I would take her there, and from there she would be tuckered out at the end of the day. I'm like, oh, good, because I'd come home and I'm exhausted. So now she's tired too.
It's like having a kid. Like people don't think like having a pet is like having a kid.
It's just like having a kid. And so the benefit to that was she got exercise, she got to socialize, and I got a break, and I didn't feel so guilty because I felt bad leaving her home all day or just stopping in for a half hour. You eat, I eat, you go out, and I'm gone. And I come back, and she's like, all right, I've been sleeping all day, I'm ready. So as I was taking her to that doggy daycare, and I started to look at other ones around just around the city, and you pick up on different things and you start to look into it, and I just began researching and looking, and the business in me kicked in. Like I love dogs. I love business. And from what I could tell, what I could see, I'm like, I can do this. And in my opinion, I can do it better. So Paws Play just kind of became encompassed of all those things that I saw. Like one thing I noticed was at the daycare she was going to, they never again asked me for her shot records.
Oh, okay.
That was a problem, like an internal problem for me.
So this is like Paws Play is just like a daycare, because a daycare keeps up with that for your child.
Yes.
Like you have to turn in the records, you have to keep up to date. Are there conferences?
There are trial days. We do meet the parent. We do talk to the parent. We do temperament tests before we actually bring them on. So if you follow our Instagram, you'll see, welcome to the coolest pack. Then that's after they've passed their trial day. They have to qualify.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like Sparky, we need to get you into this. That he needs to go to Doggy Day Care.
He needs to be where the cool paws play.
Paws are. So
yes,
he's the hottest dog, but we can get him to be cool.
I mean, hot, cool. We will work with it. So it's. Go ahead.
As you begin to envision your business plan and you go about development, so you saying like you like dogs, I like business, I want to marry these two. How did you go about setting your goals and saying like, okay, I'm going to push forward, I'm going to move forward, and this is going to be my business?
I'm going to be honest. It wasn't a day one thing. It was a long time of someone should really do something like this. And then once I found it, and then it was like, okay. But then I kind of just sat on it, but it kind of just kept poking at me like, hey, remember us? Like, maybe you should do it. And I agreed. It wasn't overnight. It took a minute. I'm like, you know what? Okay. And then slowly but surely, I just started doing small things, like the Pac-Man effect, little things. Like I registered the LLC, and then I kind of, hung out for a little bit. And then I was looking for locations, which was one of the hardest things to do.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, that was like a years processes. So that took it on its own life of itself. And then last year I was extremely motivated. I just started thinking about like funding and things like that. I was like, well, let's make sure we get that credit score up, because these inquiries are going to come in, and you're going to have to prepare for that. Like, the business is new. It doesn't have credit, but you do. So I had to work, just make sure I was good. So that was like 2016. 2017, there was another like, okay, we're good there. Don't have a location, but let's get this employee identification number. Hi, IRS. Or let's get this Facebook page. Let's get this Instagram page. Just small things. And then last May, when I found the location, it kind of put everything into overdrive. I'm like, here we are. And then knowing what I wanted, keeping the end in mind all the time, slowly but surely, mapping out what I needed to do, a lot of research, a lot of asking other small business owners that I'm networking with, and just understanding, okay, some of the do's and don'ts, some of the things that I need to do, make sure I do, and just kind of kept.
You brought up a lot of good points, though, but the one I want to go back to is, like, you were like, it took, like, small little steps. I think all too often people think, like, they'll see you and they'll see that you're successful, and they're like, oh, she just fell into this, and they don't know the behind-the-scenes research it took to actually build that business up. What made you go, like, the little steps instead of just be, like, leaping? Because I know a lot of people are just like, I'm going to leap in and start this, and then when we see the business start to crumble, they wonder why. So what, like, sparked you to be like, I'm just going to take steps and I'm going to be okay with going slow through this process?
There's some things that are ingrained in my character that kind of force me into those positions. So one thing is I don't like to be overwhelmed. Oftentimes I will overwhelm myself with like tasks, or not being able to say no, say yes to everybody, and now I'm like pulling in 1,000 different directions.
You have to take our boundaries course.
Exactly. Well, but I had to learn. Like, you're going to have to adopt the word no and be comfortable with it, and be okay with that. So that kind of helped me with this, because it was taken piece by piece, so I didn't get overwhelmed. And I knew what I wanted to see from Paws Play. And I didn't expect anything less than the best that I could produce. And to try to rush it, I didn't think that was the answer. And
so you made another point, though, about asking other businesses. Now, did you only ask businesses that were similar to yours, or was it the matter of how they went about doing their businesses, how you contacted them and was like, hey, I see what you're doing. I like your business model, your business plan. Can you help me?
Honestly, one thing if I could redo it, maybe I would have reached out to more similar businesses outside of the area, but it was more so like basic business practices and startups, just like what to expect. And I love to hear those. It's not easy. Where things didn't go so great. I love to hear that, because I'm like, okay, good, because it's not just
alone.
me. Yes, because it's a lonely road, because you're the most dedicated to your journey and the most dedicated to your business and your experience more than anyone else. I was telling my friend the other day, I'm like, I know I'm so boring. I'll talk about his dogs and cages and whatever else that comes up.
But I see that as passion. Like, I know for a long time, I always talk about being a mom. Like, but that's my passion.
Right.
So I have to tell you all things about being a mom, and so I can appreciate when somebody is passionate about what they want to do, because then, you know what I'm saying, then I get to see, like, okay, I should mess with her business, because she's not gonna sell us short. She's gonna be on top of her game.
Exactly.
And so you take this idea, so you start running with it. So you get your credit in order. Let's go back to that, because I think all too often people are like, I'll just get a loan and I'll do it and stuff. And you don't think about, like, I need to get my personal credit in order, because it's banking on me.
Absolutely.
How did you go about getting your personal credit in order?
Well, I didn't have a ton of work to do. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was like
a few things here and there.
Like
just your revolving.
720, something like that. So, but I needed it to be higher, because I know inquiries take hits, and I know my debt to income ratio was about to change. So I just wanted to be prepared. So a couple things that I probably know more about credit than I should know more about something else, But one thing I knew is that they look at your credit history. So first thing I said, okay, well, my average age of credit, let's say it was like 9 years, whatever it was. I'm like, okay, so what can I knock off that's under 9 years? So any credit card that was open under that, I knocked it off. And that brought that average usage, average history up. And then things that were carrying balances, knocking those off, getting those down, getting that debt to income ratio down. That was good. and then just continue. I mean, I've always been pretty good
Pay
about
on
on-time
time.
payments. Yeah, so that wasn't a problem.
But I'm glad you
But
said
that
that,
helped.
because I think people don't really understand is that you have to, get yourself in order before you can say, hey, I can run a business. If you can't
Absolutely.
run you, how you going to run a business? Like, who wants to be incorporated with a person who can't even run their own life and talking about running a bigger business? So here it is. We get that credit together. So y'all heard that. Get that credit together. Ask questions of other small businesses or businesses that are similar to what you want to do. And then have a vision and a plan and map that out.
Yes.
Because once you get that going, then it's like, okay, I can see where I'm going. And so how do you celebrate the milestones that you've done? Like, how do you celebrate those? Because you've reached some milestones. The credit, boom. The building, location, boom. It's nice in the place.
Thank you. I have to remind myself to enjoy the process. It's a constant reminder because it's so easy to get overwhelmed or sidetracked or just so heavy in what you're doing that you forget that it is a process. It's a journey. And I just kept reminding myself, like, this is your only time going to do this. This is your first and only time that you're going to open your first business, your first Paws play. You're never going to open your first one again. Remember what it's like. Enjoy the process. It's a constant reminder, even now, even today.
All too often, people are in the throes of starting it, and then you don't get to enjoy the moment, take back, and be like, I achieved
It's
something.
easy to do. It's so easy to
get
do.
lost. So did people question your sanity when you first started this, though? Like, were they like, okay, this girl is crazy about dogs, and these dogs going to lead her into some debt?
Honestly, they may have said it to each other, but no one has said it to me.
Really?
I have a great network of people and like people right around me, my family, my friends, and everyone is very supportive. I don't know what they say to each other, but to me, they're like, "Oh, that's so awesome! That's going to be great!" And they're extremely. How can I help?
Did
I've
you
been
ever
fortunate.
question yourself?
Absolutely. I think that's normal too. I wondered, like, do you really want to do this? Is that, like, it's a lot to risk. You're taking on a lot. Are you ready?
And in those moments, what gave you the courage, the confidence to keep going?
They honestly didn't last very long. I think I'm pretty determined. Once my mind is made up and I want something, that's what I want. And I think it would have, remembering that it would have killed me more to not know what this would have looked like. There wasn't an option.
On that one. That's right.
There wasn't an option.
Too often it's the fear of failure that stops us from doing stuff, and we really don't think about, like, if you
Right.
just take that chance, like, failure is going to happen regardless, whether it's a big failure or a small failure.
Sure.
But I'd rather shoot the shot than to, figure out later on and live to be 80 and have regrets. If you guys want to call in, the number is 440-252-0518, 440-252-0518. And so I asked about your sanity and stuff because I think sometimes we forget that we still have to take care of ourselves.
Sure.
When it comes to, we have these goals, we have these passions, and so we're shooting for the stars, achieving. But how did you self-care during this whole process?
I try to remember to, like, take those moments out, and I'm not going to say I mastered it. I don't even know if I did that.
Self-care.
Because I work full time. I work all day, and then I'm coming home in the evening and working on Paws play. So workouts were less, cooking was less. Just eating habits changed. Like, things changed. So I had to try to keep up, like, try to be cognizant of what I needed to do. I'm like, if you're not healthy, and I also have people around me that will remind me, like, make sure you're getting sleep, make sure you're eating. If you don't take care of yourself, then how are you going? Yeah, how are you going to work this if you're not healthy? So
you mentioned, like, a lot of work hours. How did that change your dating life? Because we all know, like, when you say I gotta work, that is not understood by everybody. When you're trying to go for your passion or go for your dream, it's not an understanding that you don't have time to necessarily socialize with your friends. So how did it change the dynamics of some of your friendships, and how did it change your dating life?
My friendships, those didn't change. I don't think I lost any friends because of the hours, because I have this thing where I say yes, and I like to be places. So, I mean, my weekends are still there. So I still go out to dinner with my friends, hang out with my friends. I still travel. There's not a ton that's changed in my social aspect. And then as far as dating, I still have my boyfriend, so he's okay with that.
He all right.
he's been super supportive. So I mean, like if I'm he'll ask me like what I'm doing, if I need help with something, or he's works it in.
You guys, Marlon from the King's Court, we get along on occasion when he's on the show. He'll be back on sooner than later, though. So now I'm always curious because I find a lot of people are saying, like, I can't be in a relationship and do this. So now we have a lot of, especially women, making choices like, if I want to get married and do this, I have to take this path. But then if I want to follow my passion, then I'm going to leave, not be able to do this. Mm-hmm. How are you working that out?
I think, I don't. Fortunately, it's not that I never thought about it, but that's not something I have to worry about. Mm-hmm. He and I are both go-getters. We both have more than one thing going on, so we just make sure that when there's time, there's time for each other. Like there's no real question about that.
And see, that's what I wanted to get from you, because sometimes we don't align ourselves with people that make sense for us. So you'll be here, like my sister always says, like you can't a 5 can't lead a 10. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be a 10 on the meter and a 5 leading you. And that's the same thing for relationships. Like you can't be a 10 in a relationship and try to coordinate with a 5. It just won't work out. So you have to find someone that aligns with, who understands your passion for what you're going to envision. So I'm excited. Is he working there yet? I don't want him around my dog.
No, but like the cool thing is, like, we, besides just like making time for each other, like it's that we didn't start this way. So like when I met him 4 years ago, we weren't both heavily involved in multiple things, but we've been able to keep communication open and know what each other wants to do, and we just support each other. We're there.
Communication and support. So if you are out here and you're an entrepreneur and you're wondering like why your relationship may not be going exactly, communication and support. If you can't get those two things from a person,
absolutely,
especially when you're following your dream, then honestly I don't see how it's going to work out.
Agree.
So here it is. You have this amazing support system. Yeah. You have people that are pouring into you. The day comes and you're opening your business. Tell me what that felt like that day.
Anxiety through the roof. Is everything going to be okay? Are people going to show up? How about that? I was like, I'm throwing this nice party. Come on. And then I was like, well, what if no one comes? So that was a lot of anxiety, but it was like, it was very accomplishing. I was very proud. I'm like, out of all the years, all the work, all the small bites, like, here's my end product. And I was so excited to show it to show it off, to show it to people, to introduce Paws Play to the public. It was super exciting.
And so if you could go back in your moment and remember, like, I was talking to a photographer, and she's like, that one moment before the bride goes out, she was like, I like to capture that moment alone. Can you go back and capture that alone moment where it's just you inside the building and you're like, what was that thought?
Is this on grand opening day or just period?
Just period. Just like the moment that you're in the place, you see it decorated. It's everything you imagined it to be. What was your thought right then and there?
It was just warm and fuzzy, like just warm and chilling at the same time. Like my heart was warm, my body was chill. Like this, it was exciting. It was thrilling. It was very memorable because it was. Like, this is what you wanted. This is what you've been working for. But it was also a reminder, now the real work starts. Right.
Now I got to go get some puppies.
Yes.
So how did you go about recruiting that? Because I think sometimes we think like, okay, people will come, I don't have to do any marketing for it. Like, it'll just be word of mouth. But marketing is actually a lot of work.
I agree.
How are you doing that?
So we spend a lot of time going, like we'll do canvases and we'll pass out flyers at the up at the apartments, at the hotels, at the local businesses, Instagram, Facebook. We have an ad in the Cleveland Dog Magazine.
There's a Cleveland Dog Magazine?
There is a Cleveland Dog Magazine, and it's free.
I learned something new.
It's free wherever you can pick it up. So we have an ad in there, and then. Word of mouth is huge. Like it's so refreshing when someone comes in like, oh yeah, my coworker told me. I've never seen their coworker, never met their coworker.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I
love that because it's every other day that it's like, oh, are people going to come? Type of thing. And then, but it's refreshing to know like, okay, well they're talking even if
even if you don't see them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. So, in thinking of that, what are 3 tips you would give to somebody who's like, they've got the plan in their head, they are taking the steps that you said to go ahead and do? What are 3 tips that you would give to the entrepreneur that's like, after this show, it's like, okay, I'm ready, let's do this?
To the entrepreneur, I say stand on a mountain of no's for one yes. That's like my token B. Smith quote, because the no's are going to come, and you can't be discouraged by them. You have to stay, be steadfast. You have to be focused, and knowing that what you want, and if you put in the right work and work hard enough, it's going to come. The second thing is beginning with the end in mind, knowing what that vision looks like, and making sure that those stepping stones are taking you to where you want to go, where you want to be, and you're enough.
That's right. I tell myself that every day.
If you can have the thought in your mind that this is something that either you want to do and you can't stop thinking about it, there's already more in you than you even know. I've discovered so much of myself over this last year and a half. It's amazing. Like there's so many things I didn't know I was this resilient. I didn't know I was this focused, or I could be. But I'm like, when you really want something, there it is. And I've done things along the way, that I guess I could have drawn off of, but it was a new experience, and I've learned so much from that.
And so how do you handle, let's go back to your first tip, how do you handle those rejections? Because sometimes a rejection will set somebody so far back that they're not willing to keep moving forward. How do you handle those rejections?
I say if a no sets you back where you feel like you can't move forward, you really might want to reconsider if you're built for what you're trying to do. Not that it will never happen because of that, because you will feel it. It is personal. You do feel discouraged, and that's okay. But what you want to do is let that drive you. There's always an alternative, and I think I kind of get that from being an only child. I like options. Like, no, it's not real. Like, yeah, she said no.
It's not the only option.
But I really feel like you can just like, if I nudge her a little bit, it turns into a maybe. That maybe can turn into a yes.
Don't tell my kids that.
That's how I've always been. I've always been one to, like, yeah, that's the rule, but is it really the rule? Like, in every aspect.
Oh, my God. I was just looking at Theresa. Now I know where Anissa gets it from. She hung out with Theresa. You just did this little thing, and I'm like, oh, my God. Anissa does not believe, like, no means no. She's like, I can convince you.
Because she's determined. And
really
essentially, that's what you have to have. You have to have a sense of determination. Like, I didn't get the first business loan that I applied for. Huntington told me no. I said, okay. That's all. Like, all I needed was so I can go to that next place, and I just need my yes. Cool, thank you. But don't waste my time. Go ahead. You could have said that a little quicker if you asked me. But then you go to the next place, and you have to keep. If that's what you're going to do, you have to keep going.
So, but in those moments where you're like exhausted, there's exhaustion, there's rejection, and then there's like the pain of like sometimes feeling that you're doing it on your own. How do you keep it up? Like, how do you stay motivated and encouraged to be like, okay, I'm still going to be able to do this despite I'm tired.
Right.
I've been rejected today, and I'm just not feeling the best. We all have those days. I know where you're like, I do not feel like doing this today.
Absolutely. I think it's a one day at a time thing. Just like happiness doesn't last always, neither does sadness. So neither does discouragement, neither does fear, nothing lasts always. So knowing that it's temporary keeps me, I'll wake up tomorrow and then hope we're on the good foot, and just try to turn that around and make it a little bit different tomorrow. Okay,
so I got a question. Like I said, did you create a vision board for this? Now, anybody knows me, I'm not a big vision board person. I'm more of an Excel document person. That's just my life. But did you create a vision board of what you thought Paws Play would look like, and then you just went from there?
Paws Play, I always had it in my mind. I didn't create a physical vision board. Mm-hmm. There were things personally that I wanted to keep in mind. Like I've read T.D. Jakes' book, Reposition Yourself or Reposition Your Life.
That's a good one.
It is.
That is a really good book.
So from there, he kind of describes, because I didn't want to lose myself in it, like a lot of people have testified having done before. So he talks about you're off on this road to success, and you're taking flight, and you're flying, you're soaring, you're living your best life, if you will. Your success is here. Everything's happy, everything's good. Mm-hmm. And then when you come to descend, there's no one waiting for you on the tarmac, or there's nothing at the end of it because you've spent so much time here. Mm-hmm. So to me, that meant, what were your roots? What grounds you today? When Paws play, when no one really knew Paws play besides people right around me who I talked to death about Paws play. And so I took that and I drew a tree with some roots and things that were important to me that I didn't want to lose.
Oh, see, I could do that type of vision board. Give me a tree with some roots and like, okay, so if you guys have tuned into the Sorry Girl show, you would know, like, we talked about essentialism and how we have to put, like, what our worth is. That's what's important to us. And so everything else is less because we put so much value into these couple of things. And then when you can sort that out, you can almost do anything.
Yeah.
And so when you sort out what was important to you when you thought of, like, I'm starting Pause and Play, these 3 things are extremely important to me.
I knew that when I come down off the flight that my family needs to be there, my friends need to be there, my soul, like I'm not going to sell that for anybody, so I want to be able to be proud of myself when it's all said and done. I should revisit those roots, actually, because I can't remember any more of them.
I just wanted off the top because I was like, when you think about it, I'm glad you brought up your soul, because oftentimes people get discouraged and they'll be willing to either work with anybody or do anything. And so you have to remember, like, that there was a reason you started the way that you did. You have to remain, your character. Your character grows, but you still have to be a genuine good person. So was there ever a moment, like, this is totally going to throw you off, or I hope not, like, where you were approached to work with somebody that they didn't align with you, and so you had to deal with that?
No, I haven't had that happen yet.
I hope it never does.
Me too. I mean, I've connected with a couple of great vendors, and I mean, they're right in line with things that I want to do, like the Moose and Lulus Treats. I think like there's like 4 or 5 ingredients in the treats, and you can read them all. They all make sense. There's
special that I won't be.
No, there's duck, there's kale, there's. These
are healthy dog treats.
Very simple, and my dog is low-key picky, and she enjoyed them because they're dry treats. So she's funny about dry ones. She eats them right up, and that's important to me because I try to feed Alayna the same way. Like I read her bags, and I know that there's different things in dog food that a lot of people don't know about, and I make sure that it's not in her, so I appreciate someone whose mission and their brand and their business aligns with that in that way, because like it couldn't be in Paws Play if I couldn't read it or if I knew some of the things.
So you're treating every dog as if it was Alayna.
Every dog is Alayna. Every dog is Max and Alayna. That's why we always refer to them as Paws, because I know that she's a part of me. So I know that anyone that walks through my doors, their dog is a part of them. So you have your hands, you have your feet, you have your paws. Those are your paws. And we take care of them just the same way.
And see, I can appreciate that. I think people don't understand how, like, I never thought that I would be the type of pet parent that would, like, freak out and be like, don't, like, hurt my dog.
Seriously.
But they really do grow on you. And they become just as important as everybody else in the family.
Absolutely.
Like, they are a member of the family. So I'm just excited that there's a place that I can take Sparky that hopefully he passes the test. y'all seen Sparky. Sparky is totally crazy. And so that there's a place that he can go that I can feel like he'll be safe. And so, because all too often we hear about on the news, like people locking these dogs in cages, not treating them right. You see on the outside the business looks amazing, but that's not what your pet is getting. And like I said, it's just like having a child, checking out the daycare,
Absolutely.
Making sure that people are qualified and stuff.
Absolutely.
And so I think I was with you during the process when you were making up the employee, checking out for like hiring people. And I was like, this is a really intense. I don't even know if my employee hire was that intense. How did you go about like deciding like this is what we need to have here as employees and determining how you were going to get those people?
It's serious business because you have people. It was important to me, like in interviews especially, that your reason for what, the token, why do you want to work here? Mm-hmm. And so, because I need a job, duh. So no one that's on our staff gave the answer that, oh, I just love dogs. Dogs are just so awesome. Because you have to understand that dogs are work. And every dog is not your dog. So there's a level of patience you have to have. There's a level of discernment that you have to have. And it was important to me to incorporate that because I know what that needs to look like. I know that they need to be diligent people who can be organized, who can be creative, who are out outgoing, outspoken, who can facilitate conversations with the humans and the dogs. You can't just do one or the other. You have to be able to talk to both.
Pet language.
Absolutely. Well, because the thing is, like, I walked into places like a grooming salon. She wasn't really warm even to me, and I felt weird leaving Alayna there. I was like, yeah, we're not going back. I didn't really. Nah.
I'm really weird, like, if they don't cut the hair right. Like, I will, it's a poodle. Like, you know it's supposed to have a poodle cut. Like, and if you don't cut it like a poodle, I think he feels violated.
He probably does.
So, so I'm always
what is
like,
wrong with my hair?
Right. I look cute today. You ready, Robert? Hotties, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to get into pet parenting. And Theresa's going to give us some tips on how to take care of those pets that we consider family. So, stay tuned. Hey hotties, welcome back. You are tuned into Just One Hot Mom, and I am your host, Nanika Ansari, and I am on with Theresa of Paws Play, and we are talking all things doggy. So before the break, we said we were going to talk about some pet parenting, and so a lot of times I don't think people understand. Like, I used to think that people were crazy. Like, you gonna do all of that for a dog? Like, when your dog has outfits, special clothes, a special place to go play. I never understood that until I became a pet parent. Why do you think people like laugh at us? But I'm serious about my pet. Like you're serious about your kid. Like, I'm just as serious about Sparky as I am about Anissa, Simone, or Jamil. Like, if Sparky could start a college fund, he'd probably have one. And so, what do you like when people okay, so let's take it back to this. People who are thinking of getting their children a dog, what are some tips you can give to them to, like, what should they watch for? What should they do before they get this child a dog?
I think they want to be very straightforward with what they're about to introduce them to. Mm-hmm. If they're young, you want to maybe get like a toy dog first and teach them how to pet, how to handle, how to interact with the dog. I've seen too many times where people will gift like their grandkids a dog, and then they don't have time for it, or whatever the case, and so they don't even teach the kids how to handle them, and then so they might hit them, or just not trying to be abusive, they just don't know any better. So I would say definitely spending time investing before you get the dog into your kids, to let them, like, teach them how to routinely take care of them, what they should be doing, what they should be looking for, and how to treat them.
It's like bringing a new baby home. You have to treat it like that. Because I know when we first got Sparky, we got him from a shelter, and they made us bring Anissa to the shelter so that she could kind of interact with Sparky to see if they were going to be able to vibe together.
Okay.
And so she had to go down there a couple times, because she was 3 when we got Sparky.
Okay.
So we've had Sparky for 3 years. So I was just curious, like, what other tips people can give before you get the dog. So you said make sure the child is ready for the dog. So once we bring the dog home, what are the necessary things that we should be doing? Because I work with a lady who she grooms dogs for the blind. So she was like, I sleep on the floor with the dogs. And I was like, I've never slept on the floor with Sparky, and I'm not going to. But what are some things that people can do to ease the transition? Because it's not just a transition for the family, it's a transition for the dog. So what are some things that people can do to ease that transition for the pet?
I think they can make them feel comfortable, like by doing their research ahead of time, knowing what that breed is like, what that breed, the temperament, the hair, the shedding, how much energy they have. If you know different things like that, you can build that into your routine. So you need X amount of walks. You're gonna need this for food, or that this diet works better, and always being cognizant and watching how things progress, how they change, how the kids interact with them, and make sure that everyone's on the same accord. It has to be like fully guided and full oversight.
Now, I know what to do to look for in a pediatrician, but we are having an issue finding a vet. What are some things, like, you would ask, like, you know what to ask the pediatrician? What are some things that we should be asking a vet before we decide, like, this is our vet?
I would just say go off vibes.
Really?
Vibes. Like, if you want someone that's personable, you want someone that the dog isn't afraid of, you want someone that's clean and has a good experience and track record. I'm pretty basic when it comes to that.
So don't be going on Groupon, getting the coupon. We know Groupon, they got Tiffany Haddish, so Groupon, I'm not saying nothing against y'all. I'm just saying, investigate before you get that Groupon coupon and go ahead on and get your vet. Well, because, like, when you think about how you pick your doctor for yourself, you need to just be that intense. Like, I don't think people take it as serious. Like, a pet is like having a whole other person living in your house. They're a member of your family now, so you need to take care of them just like you would any member of the family. So in that aspect, as them being a member of the family, y'all don't get sad right now. How would you coach a loved one or kids through a pet's death? Because that's possible. You may not outlive your pet. How would you recommend a parent coach the family through that?
Honesty. The same way that you would if their grandparent passed, or you just be honest with them.
So it's all around family membership.
I mean, there's no real way to sugarcoat it. I mean, you can tell them all dogs go to heaven. You can tell them that they're in a better place. You can tell them that they're not suffering. That's the same thing you would tell them about a family member, though.
But I'm thinking, because some people will be like, oh, we'll just replace it. Like, and I'm thinking, like, you could never replace Sparky with me. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? So I know oftentimes, though, parents will think, though, like, oh, the dog passed. We need to hurry up and rush out and get another dog. Would you recommend that? Or should we, like, give that grieving process some time and then maybe consider getting another pet?
And then I say there's no right or wrong. Some people are ready a little sooner than other people are ready. Just like if your spouse passed away, some people are like, oh yeah, he got remarried in a year. That's crazy. And some people are like, I'm never getting remarried, for what? And it just depends on your individual, want. Like the other half of our namesake. So the full name is Max and Alayna's Paws Play. So when Max passed away, that was like my little cousin passing away, and my cousin still hasn't gotten another dog, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago.
I don't know if I can. My mom, like Mr. Courtney, rest in peace. My mom had Mr. Courtney, and he was a toy poodle too.
Mr. Courtney.
Mr. Courtney. You guys have
seen
the
talk about the neighbor or something.
Mr. Courtney was a dog, and I mean, we had Courtney from like a little itty bitty puppy. So when he passed away, my mom's like, we thought about getting her another dog. We suggested, and she's just like, no, there will never be another Mr. Courtney. And so, but she'll play with Sparky and Coco. Y'all met the family of dogs, Sparky and Coco. But she's like, I don't want another dog for myself.
I get it.
Okay, so what can we expect if me and Sparky decide to come on down to Paws and Play? What are we getting?
Paws Play, you're going to get friendly. You're going to get professional. You're going to get outgoing. You're going to get a sense of warmth and comfort when you walk into Paws Play. It's bright. There's colors. We smile. We're excited because even in training, it's always that they're not just like the people in Paws that walk through our doors are why we're here. They're why we have jobs. And I don't think about it that this is what I have to do. This is what I get to do. Like I get to
enjoy it.
I get to get off of my full 9-hour job and I get to go play with dogs in the evening. It's like it's therapy. It's exciting. I love to do it. And they have to have that same energy. So I teach that in training as well. Like, this is what you have to bring to the table. This is the standard. It's not optional. Let's
go back to the entrepreneur part of this real quick. You said you got off from your 9 to 5. Can you explain to people why sometimes in going into entrepreneurship you still have to work? Like, people think like, no, I get like my first check and I'm never going to have to work again. People still have to work a 9 to 5. And I think when people say you don't, you are selling people a dream that may not be obtainable for the regular person.
Sure.
So what made you keep your 9 to 5?
I'm not making money yet. Easy.
So that when that first check came in, you wasn't like, I'm out of here.
No.
That's what people are expecting. Like,
and you have to understand that you're still not going to make money. I'm not going to make money for a while.
And so explain why, because I know why you're not going to make money for a while, but explain to people why you're not going to make money for a while.
The first reason I'm not going to make money for a while is because clientele has to build. Second reason I'm not going to make money for a while is because I have bills to pay. Paws Play has bills to pay. The third reason I'm not going to make money for a while is because I have a vision. I don't see just Paws Play on 12th Street. I see more than one location. So that's going to take some reinvesting, some patience, and some time.
And see, I wanted to go back to that entrepreneur because, like, there will be someone out there who gets discouraged. Like, they'll get that one check, quit their job, and then be discouraged when they have to go back to work. Like, I met, like, 3 people like that recently, and I was like, it doesn't say anything negative about you if you have to go to work.
Right.
Because you're building something, and you're trying to build it to be the best that it can be. And so, but you still have to live. Like, I still expect you to be able to pay your bills and stuff like that. And so when I think when people say, some people can not work and like I slept on the floor and I do this. I know a great story. Hey, Walter Randall. He was telling the story of when he moved to New York and he was going to be A&R for, I can't name the company right now because he's coming on the show. But, and he went there and he was expecting to get a big check. And, you know, he was like, I didn't get a big check. So then he said, oh, whatever checks I got, I was like, I want to build my own studio. And he's like, I slept on the floor between the floorboards until I built the studio. And he said even then, he was like, after it was all together and I had rappers and stuff coming in there paying big bucks, he said I still slept on the floor of my studio. And I was like, people don't understand that, like, it really is, you're putting yourself completely out there.
Absolutely.
You have to be very transparent because you're like, you never know who you're gonna have to ask for money. And so it's a matter of like, I can work or I can make myself have to depend on somebody else. Like, that's the way I see it. It's like,
Right.
I can become a dependent while I'm still trying to build this, or I can still use these skills over here to work a 9-to-5 job while I'm doing this. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I've become accustomed to a certain lifestyle that is not really
It's benefits to being friends.
not really optional. Like I can't see not being self-sufficient and comfortable. Like a certain level of sacrifice or struggle just isn't, I'm not accustomed to. So like I still want to travel. I still want to enjoy myself during the process. So I'm not totally living a double life, but I try to accommodate both of them. So I'm super tired, I'm super beat most days. But that's the price I pay for what I'm trying to do, and I'm okay with that.
And see, I like that, like, your vision is to have more of these. So you realize, like, you know, like, it's not one big client comes in with 15 dogs and that's the payday and that's it. That's what
Right.
you were trying to achieve. There's so much more to what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to have longevity, a legacy.
Absolutely.
And so, like, when people talk about business, I mean, you have to think in that, like, are you just doing this for today? Because if that's the case, then let's sell a couple shirts, a couple dresses, get you your check, get you your house and your car. But when you're building a legacy and when you want wealth, there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy.
Yeah.
Look it up. But when you're trying to build wealth, it takes some time and it takes some sacrifice and it takes some doing stuff that you may not want to do. All right, so I wanted to make sure we went back and told y'all, like, the fat check will come, but don't go quitting your job. Stay at your job so that you can maintain your lifestyle. Okay.
Unless you're cool with the struggle. I mean,
Right.
it's up
And
to you.
honestly, I'm not not at all.
I'm just not about that life. I don't know.
Okay, so going back to Paws Play, what do you plan on? What is this going to be once you have everything in place? What will it offer?
Paws Play list of services. We're in full day doggy day care. We're open 11 and a half hours, 7 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Currently 8 to 4 on Saturdays, and then Sunday we just cater to the boarders.
Okay.
And so that's daycare. We have boarding, overnight, luxury overnight suites. They're
Luxury. It's probably
they
better than a
are.
hotel.
They're very nice. Tempered glass doors. They're spacious. They come with cots and they come with bowls. But if you want to bring your own bed, you're always more than welcome. We play soothing spa sounds at night because dogs tend to get anxious when they're not in their normal environment, and I understand that. I know that, so I try to do what I can to make them feel comfortable. So we do that, and we do aromatherapy, lavender, things to make them to
I'm
calm
about to
them.
get a room down Paws Play.
And it's kind of the coolest thing to watch because I hadn't really witnessed it, so to speak, until once we started, getting boarding. So we've had this this one, our token little cute Morky. She's boarded with us 3 times now. For the first time, same routine, but she wasn't as at ease as she was when she came back the second time. And then during the second time, I can tell her differences and when it was time to go to bed. And then the third time, I left out to go grab pizza. So I put her in her suite. I went out because I was going to stay later with her than just our regular hours because she was spending the night. And I came, the whole time I'm gone, she's jumping up and down. And I'm like, calm down, I'll be right back. And I thought about it, I left all the lights on, so she knows that I'm not gone. Mm-hmm. So I come back and then I stay with her for a couple more hours. And then I left. The lights were dim. The sounds were on. And she was jumping up and down at first. I heard a little bit of noise. By the time I got to the freeway, which is a whole 2-minute drive, I checked the owner on the cameras. She was nestled up in her bed. I'm like, she knew it was nighttime.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Girl, I need you to come train these kids. I need some lavender.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to set the mood. So there's that. We have birthday parties.
I saw that. Like, yeah, I can throw a birthday party.
Absolutely. Sparky can have his birthday party there. He can come. He can bring his friends. We'll have cake. We'll have decorations. He can have open play, and it'll be a great time. What else? We have veterinarian services, like mainly for immunizations, but we partner with VIP Pet Care, as well as we soon have a potential partnership coming up as well, because that's part of our business model was to, I feel like my market needs conveniences. They're busy. They're in the city. The services are not at their back door, at their front or back doors. There's no groomer. There's no boarding, grooming, daycare, anything in the downtown area until we came down there.
And that's a busy spot too. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have their dogs down there.
There's like 1,000 dogs down there registered.
Really?
Just registered. That's not even the ones that just moved there. The ones that are not registered. 1,000. Easy.
See, that's a lot of dogs.
Easy.
All right.
And they don't have those services. So I'm like, I don't want to tell you can't come to daycare because you don't have immunizations. I'm going to tell you you're 30 days out, and we have a vet coming on this day to help facilitate your services. We bring it to you.
See, I'm all about convenience, y'all. I know I use Instacart and Walmart grocery. If that's just one more thing that I could drop Sparky off. He could be at the groomers, see a vet. He could relax and chill and get fed, and I could pick him up, and he won't be all crazy in the evening time. Like, that's just, I'm about to share
your work is done. Paws Play has you. That's why we wear the cool Paws Play.
Okay, so what do you see? What is, like, if we're thinking like maybe 5-6 years out, what's your vision for Paws Play?
For Paws Play, I see it being a household name. Everyone knows at least who we are, where we are. We're the preferred doggy daycare just because of what we offer and how we make people feel. Like we offer a smaller, intimate type of environment so that we can give that personal touch, that personal care to each paw as well as the parents. So a lot of people want like that overhead camera so I can watch in on my dog. We take a different approach. So you can look at the camera and watch them walk around, but how cool is that? Better yet, I'm going to send you a video and a picture of your paws playing to your phone with a little cute message, because we're going to talk to you. And that's how we keep that and build those relationships, and we make it more personal. So with those different touches, it's obviously a preference. And knowing that we're a choice or optional service, it's not a necessity. The more we bring to the table, the better. So definitely at least 2 in the Cleveland area, and I want to branch out to the other cities and maybe even states as well. I've always wanted to move to Charlotte, so I don't see why Paws Play couldn't be in Charlotte.
I need you to move to Chicago. Like, I've always wanted to move to Chicago. I don't know about now. We have to wait and see. You have to check the crime rate and stuff. But like, I like the fact that you have a vision for where you're going, and it reaches and it extends outside of Cleveland, Ohio.
Absolutely.
Because so often we'll get stuck in this one place because this is the place that supports us. We don't know that we can reach other places and still get the support at home and get that support other places. All right, so tell us where Paws Place is, how we can get there, and how we can reach out to you guys, how we can follow you, like you, share you. Give us all the information. So
Paws Play is located at 1277 East 12th Street. We're downtown in the heart of Cleveland between Lakeside and St. Clair Avenues. Our phone number is 216-777-3177. Real easy. We're at 1277 12th Street, 777-3177. We're on Facebook, Max and Alayna's Paws Play. We're on Instagram, Paws Play CLE. We're on Snapchat, Paws Play CLE. That's our hashtag. So we're always running specials or contests, and that's usually how you let us know that you're participating. Let's see.
Is that everything? I'm trying to think. Like, I think about where you're at.
That is everything. You can call us. You can drive to us. You can hit us up on social media. We're extremely open, extremely friendly. You can drop in anytime for a tour. We love to show off our place, and we love to show you where your paws will be the happiest.
And where you can have a party.
Yes, you can have parties.
A party there. So I want to thank you for coming on today, Theresa. And you guys reach out and share and support, because it was a need. Like, I've seen other doggy daycares, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if I want to leave my dog here, but I'm so excited that there's a place that I feel comfortable in my city to leave my baby and know that he will be taken care of and he will be loved just like he was at home.
Absolutely.
So if you had to drop one piece of advice to that, talk to young Theresa, like drop that piece of advice to her, what would you tell her about starting a business?
I always go back to that you are enough. Because I don't know that I ever had the real gumption or courage to look at myself that way. I mean, I kind of just floated through life on the outside, looking in like, things look, cool. But I do it on purpose, obviously. Like, I went to school on purpose, and I graduated. That was what I wanted to do, but it was just like I joined the military and worked in a male-dominated field. That's just what I've been doing. I just kind of float. But once I turned and looked at myself to see like what I was really offering, what I was really doing, and how I was going to do it, and I just realized so many things were already in me that I didn't know. You're enough. When you want to doubt yourself, you're enough. When you need confidence, you're enough.
So she told y'all there, you are enough. So if you got that business plan in your mind, you're taking the steps, you are more than enough. You are more than capable, and you are ready to do it. So hotties, I'm going to leave you on this note. Go on over and check out the And Sorry Girl show. Our first show aired October 2nd, and it is Essentialism, the Disciplined Art of Less. If you guys have been following me, then you know that you can catch me with Woman to Woman Crucial Conversations. That's with Sharon Thomas of No Longer Powerless and Sarah Williams of Dear Homeschool Mom and the Psalm 57 Woman. We are real women with real talk and real conversation, talking to you about all things parenting. So you guys can join us. I think that's November 3rd. It's at the Orange Library. And then what would you guys want to know when you were growing up as a preteen or a teenager? Drop those anywhere on my site, because I'm going to be answering those questions for you November 2nd. There is a panel getting together, and we are going to be speaking into some teens and preteens about what we think they should know, because this is what we wanted to know as growing up. As always, you can catch me and the hottest kids at JustOneHotMom.com, and follow all of our social media at JustOneHotMom. Sparky will be there, and we are really thinking about having a party, because I like the way that sounds, party. But guess what, hotties? You've been tuned in and you've been elevated. Talk to you soon.